Hey there everyone, Josh Crowfoot here, Crowfoot Law Firm in Chattanooga, Tennessee. I'm a commercial real estate lawyer and we're here on day 31 of Commercial Real Estate 101. We're going to continue the conversation on commercial leases and wrap up the discussion from yesterday regarding assignment of leases and subletting of leases. So when you're negotiating the assignment and subletting provision and you're on the landlord side, you want to be sure that you include a provision known as a recapture provision. And what that does is it allows you as the landlord to recapture the premises once you receive written notice from the tenant that they have a desire to either assign their interest in the lease or sublease it to a subtenant. And the reason this is important is if you are in a market where you're in a 10-year term of a lease, you're in year 5 and the market rates for that space have gone up, you want to be sure that you can capture that. And so one way to do that is if the tenant is struggling or if the tenant is just moving on to a new space and they want to assign the lease to someone else, you have the ability to just take it back yourself and find your own tenant, or you can use their tenant and charge a higher rent. So something to look out for. Another issue that pops up in these provisions, assignment and subletting provisions, is the overage. So if the tenant finds a new tenant for the space, they want to assign their interest in the lease to the new tenant, and let's say they're assigning their entire interest and not just a portion of the space. That new tenant might be paying more rent than the old tenant was, and so most landlords, they don't want tenants assigning the space at their own expense. They want to capture any of that extra rent that's being generated above whatever deal they have in place with the tenant. So you can negotiate provisions that allow you to capture any overage, any overpayment of rent that's going to the tenant from the subtenant or the assignee. And then lastly, the other issue is when you bring in an attorney to handle the review of the assignment, you want to pass on those fees to the tenant so that you're not having to go through that expense yourself. I hope you learned something new.